Hey, hi, and welcome. Turned on with it. I don't know if that helped at all, but anyway. All right, so guys, here's something if you are a northerner like myself up here in Canuckistan, you might want to consider protecting your vehicle. Again, I'm not being paid for this advertisement. I should be, but I'm not. But I'm going to try this stuff for the first time. I did undercoatings years ago, and what undercoatings are is there's a few different versions of it. Basically, they used to call it oil spray because actually what we used to use was chainsaw oil, peanut oil. Some people even probably sprayed motor oil, I'm sure. Obviously, environmental regulations have cracked down heavily on that. So now you got this new stuff here, and I'll explain each can. There's two different cans here. Not the cheapest thing to buy, but it should be good for 2 years, what they say. So if you did it every year, I think it'd be a worthy investment on a vehicle. So I got my nice little CRV out there, that 1999 Honda CRV, which shouldn't exist. It doesn't have a lot of rust on it, but the thing about rust is rust never sleeps, and rust is always inside the actual metal, and it kind of comes from the inside out most of the time, right? So when that thing starts to rust, it's just going to disintegrate right in front of me. And what gets us up here is the fact that, as you can see, I'm always parked on wet ground. It's never in a garage. It's never, it's never on dry ground. It's never in a driveway or like that. So it's always wet that you're parking above wet. And then in the wintertime, you have salt on there, always wet. It'll just disintegrate right in front of you. So the line of defense against that is undercoating. Now you can get the what they call POR 15 stuff, which goes on with a brush. I guess I can imagine you could spray it too, and it will take the rust and convert the rust into like a coating. And I see a lot of restoration cars use this, where they have a frame that's still good, but even after they wire brush it and stuff like that, it's still a little bit rusty or whatever. And what they do is then you'll see it underneath all, like if you see it like an old muscle car, look under, and it looks like black paint, it's usually that stuff of that POR 15. Now the problem with that stuff is it's UV sensitive and it breaks down. Now underneath the vehicle doesn't matter because the sun never gets there, right? So the next level is gravel guard, which most people know what gravel guard is. It's like a rubberized stuff, but the problems with that one is that sometimes it'll get flaky and the water will get trapped underneath in between a flake of gravel guard and the metal, and then it'll rust and it'll still rust. So there is no perfect answer, but the one that always seems to work the best is sprays, like oil sprays type stuff. But the problem with the oil sprays is it's usually pretty messy. Now the gun was about $27 at Canadian Tire, Canadian. And you're still going to need an air fitting for it, but I should have lots of air fittings here that I can cannibalize. So, and then each one of these, this one I think was like $25. The rest were like 24 something. I do have the breakdown here. The bill, I had the bill in here. It was in here. I swear to God. It just ran away. There's the bill down there. I don't know how it got down there, but anyway, it wasn't cheap, but I think it's a good, worthy investment. And okay, so Rush Check, $24.99. Shuts Gun, $27.99. Okay, yeah. So the other ones, if you want the part here, I'll give you the part numbers if you're going to go to Canadian Tire. So these ones here were $24.99. Sorry, this one here was $24.99. It was $1 more, and that's part number 7910-2. And the other one, which these ones here, which were $23.99 each, they're $1 cheaper, are 3X04-7933-8. And the gun is part number 047-5761-8. So $24.99, $23.99, and then $27.99. Subtotal $124.95. Punishment taxes, GST, HST, I hate them all. $141.20. Hey, what? Oh yeah, okay. Sorry, 141.19. So 141 bucks. Especially when I'm tight on cash. Trust me, that hurt me. That hurt me a lot. But what will hurt me more is when I can't go anywhere with that thing because it turns into like my road rage fan, which my poor road rage fan is so rusted out. Now, will I need this much to do a vehicle? I don't think so. When I used to do oil sprays years ago, about a can and a half usually did a vehicle. That was inside the doors and everything now. The problem is when you go and get an oil spray done, they don't do inside the quarter panels or inside the hood anymore. Well, you can get different packages. The Canadian Tire, I think they did a package for like 120 bucks where they did everything inside. The local guy here, it's 106 bucks, and he just does the bottom and the quarter panels, or the rocker panels. That's it. I'm like, are you kidding me? For that money? So really, yes. Okay, next year, minus this, as long as I don't lose this thing or nobody steals it from me, I got this now for ever and ever and ever. Now, this one's going to be we'll start with this one because this is the special one. Inner panel, obviously you can see that, inner panel protection. So, penetrates into crevices, prevents rust and corrosion, protects seams and joints, displaces moisture. So this stuff's kind of interesting. It's kind of tacky, right? So Rust Inner Panel Protect is a primer automotive body panel protector that has been used successfully since 1973, as long as I've been alive, pretty much. It is a light liquid product that is applied inside the body sections as a pressurized spray. Crevices, areas hidden inside the body, such as joints, folds, seams, and spot welds, are the places where corrosion starts to spread. Inner panels protectant has the light liquid consistency and the active adhesives necessary to penetrate deeply into these protected, the many vulnerable crevices found in today's vehicles. Rust Check protects many metals by displacing moisture and treating the surfaces with lightly affected corrosion inhibitors and inhibitors for the from an absorbent bonded layer of the metal surfaces. The microscopic layers act like series of tiny umbrellas shielding its surfaces from water molecules, just as a car battery will not work without electrolytes. Metal corrosion will not occur if moisture does not contact the metal. Directions: remove excess moisture, dirt, and loosen the rust from the surface to be treated. Shake well before applying. Apply within Dominion Sure Salts. Okay, that's the gun they're talking about here. Pressure 80 to 100 psi. Apply liberally, reapply when necessary. Will not harm paint surfaces, glasses affect electrical components, motors, contacts, or wiring. But I would still try to avoid, obviously don't get it on the upholstery. Just so you know, okay, warning: exposure to liquid spray mist can cause slight transmit in irritation of the eyes, skin, or respiratory. Yeah, cover yourself up when you're doing this. Be smart about it. Don't just. It's like when I see people doing aerosol sprays. Like in a closed area. Like you're going to breathe that in. That stuff's very bad for you. Precautions: do not breathe in spray. Obviously, spray mist. Use only in a well ventilated. Do not swallow. Do not get in eyes or on skin, clothing. Wear protective glasses and rubber gloves. Wear approved respirator and stuff like that. First aid treatment contains petroleum, hydrocarbons, oils, non-hazardous. If swallowed, can call poison control or a doctor immediately. Do not induce vomiting. If in eyes, rinse with water for 15 minutes. In case of skin contact with exposure areas, soap and water. If on clothes, remove clothes. If move person to fresh air, keep out of reach of children, etc., etc. So okay, so that I'll just, and the second one here, I'll just read you the top part because the other stuff's going to be the same. Because nobody ever takes the time to read this stuff to you, so like you know what you're buying. You can go read it online, obviously too. Rush check primer coat is a vehicle undercarriage protectant. So this is the main one you're going to use. If you can only afford the one, get this one. Or if there's, again, this one you're going to use, we'll go back to this one for a second. This one you're going to use, okay, like say around the wheel wells, inside the quarter panels, inside the rockers, inside the doors, inside like the trunk, inside the trunk lid itself, inside like all the kind of like the frame stuff. Probably inside the engine bay a little bit more, like around the wheel struts, around the inside of the hood, all the edge of the hood, stuff like that. Now on this gun, I only got the one fitting. I don't have the one that goes in the doors, but there's little tabs. When I do it, I'll show you how I do it. There's like little tabs that you pop out. Make sure you don't lose them, like little plugs. You pop them out, and then you shoot all the oil everywhere, and then you cover them up again. You put the plugs back in. Sometimes the plugs get destroyed when you take them out. If that's the case, find another way to cover the hole. I don't care how you do it, just do it, because that's open and that's where the water's going to get, right? But they're all throughout your vehicle. They're inside, you open the doors, you'll see them. You'll open you look on the rocker sill, you'll see them. The quarter panels, because when you open the door, you'll see right into the quarter panel. You just shoot it in that way. Obviously, don't get it on the upholstery and stuff like that. But so that's how that one's going to be used. This one is going to be underneath, like just kind of spraying it generalized underneath. Here we go. Where are we? Coat Protect is a thicker version of Rush Check inner panel. So it's the same as this, just a little bit more thick. But because it's underneath, it's going to need that. Protected with good adhesion, with wash resistant, making it ideal for exposed undercarriage areas. Coat protects, eliminates dripping from the undercarriage, but does not harden. It's self-healing. It won't crack or peel. Can be applied in both new and used vehicles. Coat protectant is premium protectant coating, very high percent of the same type of effect, corrosion, used in Rush Check inner panel. Okay, so used together with Rush Check, the products can, so that's why I bought the both of them. So the rest is the same to read. So this one again, for new and used vehicles, prevents rust, corrosion, non-drying, resistance to severe weather. However, the problem I have now, because by the time I got enough money to buy all this, which was last week, it's been raining almost every day. Now the problem is like today I could probably do, say, like the inside panels and stuff like that. And I could do the whole vehicle today if I wasn't going anywhere. Problem is I keep having to go somewhere. And when you apply it, what you want to do is apply it on the driest day you can, just because, again, like the underneath of it's going to be wet today, you know what I mean? But if you get a dry day, here's what you should do. Go out, drive around, get a lot of air under the vehicle, you know what I mean? Make sure your vehicle's dry. Don't go to a car wash and then do it. If you're going to do a car wash, do the car wash like a week or two ahead, and then do some driving so that you've kind of aired out the bottom. So if you can get it, let's say, a couple of dry days, take the vehicle out on the dry day, drive it around, just normal. Go for a good drive somewhere so that a lot of air got underneath the vehicle. When you look under the vehicle, if it's all nice and dry, start spraying. If not, remember, this stuff's going to trap in whatever moisture's there, right? Because the moisture can't get in, but the moisture can't get out either. So although it has bodies that will sap some of that moisture away, there's always going to be like a level of moisture that it can't, right? So, no product is perfect. So when you do that, the next phase you want to do is, like, say, make sure the vehicle's dry everywhere, then get it sprayed, maybe put down a big roll of plastic or something like that, because it is going to be messy. You don't want to get it into the environment, because some of it's going to end up on the ground. Like, it's just the way it is. Some of it will probably drip. There's no doubt about that. Be careful where you do this, because some places you could get you might not be allowed to do this, or whatever. So you do that. Like I say, suit up so that because don't wear clothes that you care about. You get this stuff on your clothes, it destroys your clothes. It's like an oil, right? Well, it is an oil. So once you do that, maybe go over, get a better view. Once you do that, then the next thing to do is simply do all the spots, which I'll show you when I do the actual spray. I don't know what day it's going to happen because it's been kind of muggy all week, and I don't know what day I'm going to get snow. But as long as it's a dry day, I'm going to do it. But I'd rather do it than not do it, because again, by spring this thing it could be vaporized with rust. By rust. I don't think it's going to be that bad that quick. But my boss, who used to own this car, sold it to my cousin, who sold it to me, and I got it for $400. Not too bad, mind you, 400,000+ kilometers, about a 250,000 miles on it, or basically the equivalent of driving around the equator 10 times, literally. Like that, I'm not kidding about that. That's how much mileage is on this thing. It's a 1999, so it probably shouldn't even exist, but for some reason, there's not that much rust on it. It's quite incredible. But his wife used to drive it a lot. She'd drive it from Ottawa to Toronto all the time, and whatever, and I guess they must have parked it in the garage and all that stuff. So it never really got any rust on it. But the rust that is sort of coming out on it, my boss looked at it, and he only sold this vehicle to my cousin a year ago, and he says, oh, that wasn't there when I sold it to him, the rust that was there. So that's how fast rust starts. When it starts to come out, it's like it's nothing, and all of a sudden, bang, it's just, the vehicle just disintegrates in front of you. Same thing happened with the road rage van, my mom's old van. I mean, the reason why I didn't put any money into that was because, well, by the time I got it, the rust was already, but it seemed like within a 2-year span, it was like the vehicle was fine, okay, it's not too bad, and then bang, now it's like it all came through, and now it's like, I haven't fallen through the floor or anything there yet. And I might even, if I have anything left over, I might actually spray that van just to preserve it. I mean, the rockers are done on it, but it's repairable stuff, but at what cost, right? I mean, that van needs about $4,000 worth of parts, and it's not worth it, right? Other than sentimental, but as much as I love that van, it's $4,000. You could probably buy 4 of those Dodge Mini Caravans in mint condition for $1,000 each. You know what I mean? If you look around, So, but it's too bad because I love that little V6. It's nice. So once you spray it. The next thing I would do, after it's all sprayed up, make sure it's a dry day, go find a dusty road somewhere to drive down. And drive down that dusty road, and that actually makes it even more tacky. And it's kind of like you've got your metal, you've got your layer of oil or undercoating, and then you've got a slick layer of dirt, which thickens it up more. And with this stuff, I haven't used this specific stuff, but what I used to use was chainsaw oil. It worked great, but it's not environmentally allowed anymore. But the chainsaw oil, what you do is you take the canister like that, leave it near, maybe not like on a heater or something like that, but let's say you had like one of those blow heaters, maybe about 5 feet from it, just enough so that the thing would warm up a bit, so it'd be kind of like think of it like hot syrup, just spray it on there, and it just spreads really good. And then when it cools, it thickens, right? And then, of course, you drive down the back road, the dust thickens it up more. Well, this is going to do that naturally for you, but again, that extra layer is just drive down the road and get that done. I'll put this together, and I'll show you the gun when it's all together and stuff like that. But these here basically just screw onto there. So if you're wondering why this doesn't come with the canister, that is the canister. So that threads onto there. Because we used to sell these at the store I used to work at, and they were the same thing. They were about $25, but they used to come with a canister, and it was a slightly smaller canister. Now, one thing I'm not sure, maybe once it gets all threaded in there, this may be too long. If it's too long, just cut it short. But that should, in theory, work with this gun. It says it does. So, but sometimes you'll come into that. If that's the case, just cut it a little bit shorter so it fits in the canister. And I think don't throw away the canisters. And I'll tell you why. Because maybe you can buy a big pail of this stuff and just reload the canisters. Or if you find other, let's say you use peanut oil. Well, you now got 4 canisters. So Problems you encounter while you're spraying, especially in the slightly cooler weather. You're spraying and all of a sudden the stuff doesn't start coming out. Bring the gun in, let it warm up because it usually freezes on you. It gets iced up on you. It's just not so bad if the compressor's outside with you, but if the compressor's inside and you're outside, it's like you spray for like 5 minutes and okay. So I used to have 2 guns on the go, so I'd get one ready. Get it all warmed up, then when one would freeze up, I'd switch to the other one. And I would typically use, the way I did it, because I used chainsaw oil, like a 4 liter. This here, just so you know, is 830 millimeters or 28.1 ounces, okay? So basically, that's a 4 liter. And a 4 liter, I could do, say, 3 small vehicles typically, or 2 pickup trucks typically. So this should do my vehicle. That's going to be for my brother and my dad. I'll at least get the undercoating there because my brother just bought that little Mazda 3 and it doesn't seem to have any rust on it. And I know he's a little low on cash too. And my dad's truck, well, I know he's had his truck a little bit longer, but my vehicle is older, but his is starting to get more. The box, for example, he had a bed liner in there and it just rusted out the front of the box like you wouldn't believe. So he's got to get the front of the box done before it just completely disintegrates altogether. And that truck's 2008, I think. You know what I mean? Like it's amazing how fast things rust out here. Yeah, so I'm going to do my dad's truck. Well, I'm going to do, the priority is my little vehicle, then whatever's left over, I'm going to do my dad's truck. I'll probably do the quick spray, and then do my brother's, do the quick spray underneath for now, and then whatever's left, I'll see if I can get their quarter panels and stuff like that, and if there's even a little bit more left, the next car to do, if I doubt there would be enough left, on the other side of the big F-150, there's my brother's little Toyota Tercel, which has like pretty much 0 rust on it. For that car was immaculately kept before my brother got it, and my dad could still probably flog that car rather than having it. So we got 8 vehicles sitting in the yard here, so it's like get that. And then if I have anything left that I can spray, probably won't be that stuff. I'm gonna just maybe spray the road rage van just to preserve it a bit. But anyway, that's the stuff there. I picked it up at Canadian Tire. There's all kinds of variations on this, different brands. But Rush Check is obviously they specialize in this product, and you can get it. And proudly Canadian, 100%. But I mean, us Canadians, I mean, we deal like. You people down there in the States, you don't have the salt on the roads that we get. Now, maybe in the northern states, yeah, you understand where, like say like around Vermont or someplace like that, or the Great Lakes, yeah, you guys get, sometimes you get more snow than us because of the lake effect and stuff like that. And you got salt on the roads and everything like that. So you guys know what I'm talking about. But once you start getting south of there, like people in Florida, I mean, they're still driving mint condition 1979 somethings. You know what I mean? I talk to people in Arizona. The big problem they have down there is, and a little trick for you, my Yankee friends there, is all you guys down there in the States that don't have salt on the roads and stuff like that. But when you get, I know that when you get near the coast, like in Texas, the rust gets you because of the salt from the ocean. Yeah, I get that, but if you did that to your vehicle, it would never, ever rust. And the other thing is, stop putting water in your vehicles. Put frickin' radiator fluid in there. You'll never overheat again. Yeah, it's expensive, but you know what I mean? Like, you're never going to overheat again. Because that's, I remember one of my friends from Arizona was telling me that. He goes, yeah, he says, big problem we have down here in Arizona is that it gets so hot that the radiators blow, you're always blowing a rad hose or something like that, because they boil over. But get like that engine ice stuff or something like that. It's a little expensive, but you put it in there like once every 2 years. You know what I mean? So it's like 60, 80, maybe $100 of it's meant for high temp stuff, so your vehicle, water just boils off, right? So, but anyway, there we go. So that's the Rush Checker. I finally got it. Been waiting for a day to do it. I've had that stuff for a week now, and we're in November, and worst case scenario, I'll just spray it the way it is. If the weather doesn't light up, but it's like it's just getting to it's like I need a dry day to do it, and it's just kind of one of those things that You know, you don't want to spray it when it's wet, but, you know, it could be wet now till spring, right? So what do? You know, if I wait till spring, I mean, all the salt's going to be on there and everything. Now, that said, in the springtime, yeah, you can take her through a car wash and try to clean it up and stuff like that. But for me, I'm just going to leave it on, you know, and just keep every year just reapplying until I get another vehicle or whatever. You know, like that's my only lifeline right now as a vehicle. Obviously, not going to be riding the motorcycle in the wintertime, so I don't even know if I'll be able to ride in the spring because it's got problems. So, so covering it, that's a good idea. I know this video is a bit long, but you know, just some tips and advice, because I know some people they've never done it before, whatever. It's not hard to do, but the thing is like I say, do it in a ventilated area. Don't let it get in your eyes. Don't wear clothes you like. All that stuff's going to get ruined, but try not to breathe it in. Get yourself, you know, even a cheap mask is better than nothing, but get the best mask you can get. If you're doing one vehicle, that's not so bad, but if you're, you know, like again, the best money I've ever made in my life was doing oil sprays, because I could do about 3 to 4 vehicles an hour. Once you get it down to a science. I haven't done that in years, but that's the whole thing. You don't need a very big compressor. It's just slower going with a small compressor. So if you have like a little 15-gallon or something like that, it'll do you. You know, you know, you'll be waiting for it, but it shouldn't be too bad. It shouldn't be too bad. Just take your time with it, you know. Like today, I might just see if I can get at least inside the hood and you know, the dry spots. You know what I mean? What I'll do is I gotta go someplace. So when I come back, maybe what I'll do is have everything set up and just shoot it in there. Do inside the doors. Anywhere there's no water. No, I'll wait till there's a dry day and then I'll do the bottom. But if it's going to stay like this, I'd rather spray the bottom than not have it sprayed for the winter. It's just I don't want to trap the moisture in there either. But like I say, it will suck out some of it. So as long as it's reasonably dry, you should be able to get away with it. But the best is that the vehicle is completely dry when you apply it. So in other words, the best time to do it is not in November, but it's my finances. I couldn't get it done. I couldn't afford to buy it before November. So you get the idea of what I'm up against. So I'll leave it at that. So if you like this kind of content, please consider you know, subscribing to the channel for sure. All the subs I can get will help. Yes, I will. I know this is a very long video, but I will definitely show you when I'm done. But this is probably one of the best investments you can make to preserve your vehicle, obviously. So anyway, rate, subscribe, share, comment, like. Be true to yourself. Be true to others. Always do the right thing. Have yourselves a great day.